Hi everybody, so this is Danielle and this is Corey, my very good friend Corey, and we're going to talk about, things we learned in college but weren't taught. This is the I Don't Get College series, and I'm an architect major at Andrews University. This is my last year in undergrad.
And I spent undergrad at Oakland University, where I studied theology, and now I am a master's student here at Andrews, getting my master's in divinity.
Okay, so let's get started. You can start first.
Well, the thing about college is that there are some things you just don't learn until you get there. Like, you can hear all the college seminars and all the graduates can tell you stuff, but there are some things that you just learn from experience. And one thing that I learned in college from experience is that people will always want your time. You will be stretched, whether it's socially, academically, extracurricular activities, and everyone will want a piece of your time. Boyfriends, girlfriends, best friends, enemies, and you have to protect your time as much as you can. You have to know how to say no. You have to know how to say, I can't do it. You have to know how to say, not this time. Whether it's going out to get some pizza, or whether it's being a part of this group activity that's extracurricular, or even if it's just spending time with other people. In college, you have to have a good schedule and you have to be a great manager of your time, because people will always try to stretch you. Friends, socially, academic. You have to be able to, like for me, Danielle, I would just sometimes just go to my room, go home, and just stop and have time for me, because your days will be so busy and you'll just feel so stretched.
That's true. That's true. And then piggyback off of that, one thing I've learned is about myself is I don't have any type of discipline. So and I'm a yes person. I'm always like, hey, you wanna do something? Yeah, girl, I got a test, but I'm gonna still do it anyways. So I had to learn how to micromanage my entire life. Like, I have a calendar on my desk, a calendar in my studio, and I have 2 planners, and I put all my events in my phone as well. So I make sure that I'm always constantly reminded of what I have to do, and I go in even down to when I'm gonna eat. I put in my planner because
you will even miss eating. You will miss meals. Yeah.
So I feel like with my experience was I can't judge someone else's experience in college and apply it to my life, because some people are just like, oh, you'll get into the flow of things and you'll learn it and then you'll adapt. But it wasn't it took until my junior year for me to literally sit down and be like, okay, Neil, this is what you can't do and this is what you can do.
And this is a lesson that I'm still learning, and I'm in grad school and I'm still learning. I'm a socialite. That's the kind of person I am. Danielle knows this. And so to be able to say, I can't be there, I can't make it, I gotta study, I gotta do homework, it's a discipline thing. But you're gonna be, burnout is real. You know what I'm saying? And burnout just doesn't come from your academics. It can come from social burnout. It can come from just being active, And so just take time for yourself. Rest your mind, rest your body, and be a good manager of your time.
And then to flip things, because I'm an introvert. Some people don't believe it, but I am. So I would stay in my room on a Saturday night and just watch movies. And I think I did that this entire school year. I don't really think I did much unless I came by Corey's house to hang out with him and our friend Phoebe. And I think it's okay to get your own little space, but then you still need to go out there and explore. You're a college student, I don't really have bills for real. So I need to go out there and do fun stuff. And now that I'm about to go to grad school, I'm seeing how my life is not my own anymore because I'm not gonna have money. But it's okay. So one thing I did learn was to not only make time for myself, but to actually have fun with my friends and do things with them instead of just staying in a dorm listening to Beyonce and Rihanna all day.
Yeah. I would also say, tell me what you think about this. One thing that I learned in college was you have a right to challenge your professors.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize that.
It took me a while to realize that. for me, come from high school, you're used to high school being a very authoritarian, the teacher is a teacher. But in college, you are paying a whole lot of money. And when in the in-class lecture experience, the teacher is getting paid not to just tell you what books to read, but the teacher is getting paid to give you advice and to give you deeper intellectual information and to give you a deeper perspective that can't be relayed in the textbook.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times I struggled with asking questions in class, stopping the teacher in the middle of a lecture. But when you are paying $20, $30, sometimes $40,000 a year in order to have this person teach you, you have a right to say, I don't know, I don't understand. Can you better explain that? You weren't very clear. I remember one time, the whole class, like we all failed a test. And the teacher said, that's on me. Like if the entire class fails,
It's on him.
it's on the teacher. You know what I'm saying? So don't take, what the teacher says for granted. If you're not understanding something in class, like raise your hand. Like the only idiot in a classroom is the person who doesn't understand and won't say that they don't understand. But you are paying too much money. The stakes are too high to leave a class period and not understand what the teacher is talking about. If they need to speak up, ask them to speak up. If they need to slow down during a lecture, ask them to slow down. They are there to serve you.
Yeah. And like I think I've learned that my senior year, like just to be unapologetically yourself. Because my thing was, I'm the only black girl in my class, and like I said in the previous video, I've always had issues with talking to my professors because they don't really understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And I think this year I had one of my teachers, me and him, we got in a whole thing in class, and he was saying stuff, and I was just looking at him like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not asking you for advice because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, we were going back and forth in class, and everybody's just like, Dale, like, relax. And like, I did it because I just didn't care anymore. And it was at that point when I realized that I didn't want to come back to Andrews because the teachers weren't giving me what I needed. And it was when I realized that like my education really is in my own hands. So even if my teacher isn't doing their job, the resources is still in my face. We have a whole entire library dedicated to architecture, whole section dedicated to gentrification. If I want to learn something that my teachers can't teach me, there are books available and stuff like that. So it's more than just following what the teachers say mindlessly. It's more about what are they saying, how can it apply to my life, and taking things that can apply to your career and moving forward with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good. And that's the truth. Like, challenge them. If they say something that you disagree with, challenge them.
Yeah.
Respectfully, but challenge them. It's a place of higher learning.
Some teachers like that. Like one of my professors, he's like, so I'm in charge of the master's program, like your 5th year program, and what you're gonna do next year. And I don't really know what you guys want to do. So what do you want to do? And everybody's like, no one ever asked us that before. And he's like, well, you need to tell me because this is your education. What do you guys want to do? And I am so appreciative for someone like that because, I mean, granted, it's late in the game, but still, and I won't be here. But, yeah, like, just, even if they don't give you the opportunity, just do it. Just do it. I had a research project that was supposed to be dedicated to, like, building something in the area. And I was just like, can I just do about gentrification? Yeah, thanks. That's what I'm going to do.
I would also say, in regards to like the college experience that nobody ever told me, one thing that I discovered, for those of you who are starting college, who are leaving in the fall or whatever, that one of the best ways to survive the stresses of college is to find one thing that you absolutely enjoy doing that is not academic, but it's good for you personally. Like one of the ways that I have, and I think Danielle can agree to, like even doing like these videos, it's something that is not a part of the curriculum, but it's her own personal, activity that brings her fulfillment and joy and empowerment. For me, it's working out. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, for me, like for real, like when I'm stressed out with school, I have to go to the gym because it's just something that I'm working on myself that keeps me sane. You know what I'm saying? That keeps me, balanced. in spite of all the stresses and stuff around me. And I think that for Danielle, it's been, doing these videos and vlogging, you know what I'm saying? Like, you define, and I think that in college you do find yourself a little bit, because it's your first time on your own. You are bombarded with so many different people and expectations, and you can kind of feel like you're losing yourself a little bit. But the one way to maintain who you are as an individual is to find something that you absolutely enjoy, that you can do by yourself anytime, that absolutely is fulfilling for you. It may be writing, you know what I'm saying? It might be starting a blog. It might be vlogging. It might be working out. It might be like shop. It might be just whatever it is.
Definitely shopping.
Shopping. Like, find something that you absolutely enjoy, that keeps you balanced, that keeps your equilibrium intact, that just keeps you sane. Because you can go insane in college.
Oh, with the quickness. Like, when I first got here, my mom bought me a whole bunch of pills, like anxiety pills. And
we don't endorse this, everybody.
She got me like vitamin B and fish oil pills and was like, you and Shanika have to take it. And Nico was like, I don't take pills. And the things were like this big. And she wanted to take it every single day.
Yeah.
She counted the pills in the bottles to make sure that, and like, she compared it to the amount of days we had in school to make sure we were taking the pills.
Is that real? Is that intentional?
Oh my God.
But
it's so true.
And the thing, like, especially if you're dating somebody while in college, keep your head, keep stay sane. Stay sane. Trust me. Stay sane.
And like, I feel like, well, it's a little like off track, but like one thing I did learn in reality, like keeping sane, I had to learn how to be by myself. And it's like a little bit like different, not like physically being in a room by myself, but there have been many times where I've been surrounded by all my friends and felt alone. And like, I have a very great support group of friends. Like, my friends are the best. I've been friends with them from freshman year till now. They're never going anywhere. And but there have been times when I've been in my lowest points and no one was there. And it wasn't because they didn't want to be there, but because they couldn't physically be there, or like they were in a class, they were at work, taking a test, whatever the case may be. So I had to realize that I had to come to a place where I can't depend on people to pull me up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I had to rely on Jesus.
Yes.
And that was really hard, because there were times when I was really mad at him and I was just literally just running around in a circle, and I would attach myself to these, I feel like I had like the craziest relationship stories, but I've attached myself to these guys because I've been looking for that area where I can just vent, you know? Not so much to be in a relationship, but just to get, like, you know, just to clear my head and all those kind of things. And it literally took up to my senior year when I was just like, oh, Eureka, this is why. And it's like, you can't figure this all out freshman year. And even while we're telling you this, you won't make the connection till probably senior year. Like, I'm a senior, he's in grad school. Like, it takes a while to make the connection, because people can tell you these things and warn you about all these things from the moment you enter high school, and you won't see it until you physically experience it for yourself.
I got one more thing. If that's all right, Danielle?
No, that's fine.
Like, y'all, this is real. Throughout college and even post-grad, your circle will influence your trajectory the most. Winners spend time with winners. Losers spend time with losers. 4.0s spend time with 4.0s. 5, 6, 7 year students spend time with 5, 6, 7 and on year students. People who you spend the most time with will be the people whose academic patterns, whose discipline patterns, whose study habits will begin to line up with yours. And if you are a person, if you are going to be a biology major and you know that you have to maintain a certain GPA, a certain amount of study habits, you may not be able to hang out with your homegirl all the time whose study habits are trash. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, if your boys are only in the gym all day, every day, and you know that you want to go to Harvard Law School, you can't be, because people's habits will rub off on you. And I have seen consistently, I've seen people who are like, well, why am I not passing? Why am I not graduating? And what you'll see is that who they spend time with the most are people who are just like them. If you know that school is not your thing, and school is never my, like, I know how to do school, but I don't like school. I didn't like school. But I knew that I had to spend time with people who knew how to study, who knew how to be disciplined, who knew that they wanted to get a doctor, who knew that they wanted to get masters and get doctoral degrees and do deeper study. And I knew that if I wanted to do that, then I had to spend time with people like that, because I would sometimes spend time with people who were not serious about school, who were not, and it would drag me down. You know what I'm saying? So you're like I always say this: your network will determine your net worth. And who you spend time with, who you invest in, you will begin to see you're either rubbing off on them and they are rubbing off on you. And the sad thing is that in college, a lot of times, other people will rub off on you. And you'll be like, what? Like, and then when it comes to May, you'll be like hurt, sad. When it comes to applying for jobs or applying for grad schools, you'll be sad. Because what you'll see is you got the homies, you're all hanging out, but you're failing.
Yeah.
So just spend time with people who are on the same path and on the same trajectory that you're on. Which she has done. They're all like on it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's like a major lesson. Like
a major key alert.
Major key alert. Like major key alert. Like, yo, watch who you invest your time with. Like, yeah.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is our video. You guys should check out Corey's blog.
Shameless plug. Out of Bounds. We are 7 guys from college. I'm gonna give you the shameless plug. We are 7 friends from college who decided to start a blog. It's a foundational blog talking about sports, relationships, politics, culture, news, music, hip hop, everything. So it's ooboundsblog.com. ooboundsblog.com. Out of Bounds. I'm on there. I got some pieces on there that are real dope. Danielle has read them, and so they're really good. So just check it out. Like, hit us up. Follow us on Twitter. oobounds. And just show us some love, man. Shameless plug. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.